So in this question, we have an iron ball which is actually falling from a height of 125 meters. So let us say we have an iron ball of mass 3 kg and it is falling from a height of 125 meters. And it says it falls freely to the ground. Now first of all, what we should understand over here is that the ball is actually moving from top to bottom. That means we have to make two conclusions. First is that the initial velocity is 0 and g will be positive. Now let's read the question further. Let's say what the question asks. First of all, it says find out the time taken by the ball to reach the ground, that is denoted by small t. Then it says find the velocity of the ball on reaching the ground. Now since the initial velocity is 0, the thing that we have to find is the final velocity denoted by small letter v. And finally, the height of the ball at half the time it takes to reach the ground. At half the time it takes to reach the ground, so we'll write it as h to the base t by 2. Let's see what it exactly means. Now we'll write these things in the given data first. So in the given data, first of all, we have mass that is equal to 3 kg, which will not be required in solving the question. Why? Because all the equations of motion that we have, that does not depend upon the mass of the object. Then we also have the value of s, that is the displacement, which is equal to 125 meters, and we have the value of small g, that is 10 meters per second square. There is one more thing or one more conclusion that we have drawn, that is the initial velocity u is equal to 0 meters per second. We have to find three things. That is first of all time, that is denoted by small t, final velocity denoted by small v, and height at half the time. Let us see which formula do we use. We know that we have three formulae. What all factors do we have? M, we are not going to use that. S, G, U and T. So S, G, that is A, U, that is initial velocity, and T, that is time. That means we can use the second formula, right? So first of all, we have to use the second formula, that is S is equal to ut plus half gt square, and finally we'll use the formula V is equal to u plus at or gt to find the value of V. So S is equal to ut plus half gt square is the first formula that we'll be using, and finally V is equal to u plus gt. Now let's start by solving case 1 of finding the value of time. So S is equal to ut plus half gt square is the formula. So we'll write the formula S is equal to ut plus half gt square, and then we start by substituting the values. Do we have the value of S? Yes, we have the value of S, that is 125 meters. So we'll write 125 is equal to, now u is 0, right? So 0 into anything will actually give us 0. So we'll write 0 into t. As of now, you can directly write 0 as well. So plus half remains half. G is given as 10, and obviously time we have to find the value. Now 2 ones are and 2 fives are is 10, right? So we write 5s are. Now see this, 5 into t square becomes 5t square, and obviously 5t square into 1 gives us 5t square, and 0 into t gives us 0. So here we have 0, here we have 5t square, so 0 plus 5t square becomes 5t square. So we have 125 is equal to 5t square. Now since we have to find the value of t square, we'll shift 5 to the other side. So it becomes 125 upon 5 is equal to t square. So 5 ones are 5, 5 25s are 125, so t square is equal to 25. Now since we have the value of t square, and now we have to find the value of t, what should we do here? And obviously we have to take square root. So what is the square root of 25? That is nothing but 5. And what is the unit of time? Seconds. So we have the value of time as 5 seconds. Now this is equation number 1. Now let's start with case 2. In case 2, what are we supposed to find? We are supposed to find the final velocity, that is denoted by small v. Which formula do we have? V is equal to u plus gt. So do we have the value of v? No. U, yes, 0. G, yes. What is the value of g? That is 10. And what is the value of t? 5 seconds, right? So we have 10 into 5, which is nothing but 50. And what is the unit? It is meters per second. So we have the first two values, that is time is equal to 5 seconds and v, that is final velocity, is equal to 50 meters per second. Now let's move on to case 3. Now case 3 is very interesting. Here we have to find the value of height at half the time. Now since height at half the time needs to be found, we have half the time, that is nothing but t by 2, and t is nothing but 5 seconds. So we have 5 upon 2, and what is 5 upon 2? That is nothing but 2.5 seconds. That means now we have to find the value of height of the ball at 2.5 seconds. Now height is nothing but the displacement, and displacement is denoted by small s. That means we'll use the formula s is equal to ut plus half gt square. Now u is nothing but 0. So 0 into anything will give us 0. That means 0 over here plus half. Now half remains half. G is 10 and t square is nothing but 2.5 square. So here we have 2 1s are 2 and 2 5s are 10, right? Now what else we do over here is 0 remains 0 and this entire thing plus 0 becomes this entire thing. That means we have to only solve this side. Now we have 2.5 square. 2.5 square. Now just imagine what is 2.5 square. Just try and calculate what is 2.5 square. Once you get the answer, multiply it by 5. So the answer that we obtain over here is nothing but 31.25. That means this is just the displacement from the top. Now listen to this very, very carefully. Now we know that this object is falling from top to bottom. Now since it is falling from top to bottom, we have found the displacement from the top at 2.5 seconds. That means when you throw the object in the downward direction, after 2.5 seconds, it will complete a displacement of 31.25 meters. That means this answer is from the top. But the question says, find the height at half the time. And height is always calculated from the ground. That means what we have to do is, we have to subtract this value from the entire height. That is the reason we will subtract and find the answer. So here what we'll do is, to find it, we'll subtract from 125 because the total height is 125. So we have 125 minus 31.25. When you subtract this, what we have is 93.75 meters. Then we'll write the final statement, and the final statement is: first, time taken by the ball to reach the ground is 5 seconds. Second, velocity of the ball on reaching the ground is 50 meters per second. And finally, height of the ball at half the time is 93.75 meters.